this video, we are going to discuss what is designer drugs and the purpose of its creation. First, let us describe and define what is designer drugs. Designer drugs, often referred to as illegal highs, are chemically engineered to resemble controlled substances like cocaine, ecstasy, or marijuana. Manufacturers modify their chemical structures to produce similar effects while circumventing drug laws. These substances can lead to a serious health risk, including addiction and overdose. Due to their unknown potency and the potential for harmful side effects, the ultimate goal for some producers is to stay ahead of legal regulations, which makes tracking and regulating these drugs challenging. Designer drugs are synthetic substances created to mimic the effects of existing illegal drugs while altering their chemical structure to evade legal restrictions. They often target the same brain receptors as their predecessors but can vary significantly in potency and safety, leading to unpredictable effects and potential health risks. Designer drugs are synthetic substances created to mimic the effects of illegal drugs while altering their chemical structure to evade legal restrictions. Common categories including synthetic cannabinoids like spice, which can cause severe anxiety and paranoia. Synthetic stimulants known as bath salts, which can lead to agitation and hallucinations, and new opioid variants such as phenyl analogs posing significant overdose risks. These substances are often produced in clandestine labs, making regulation difficult, and their unpredictable nature leads to serious health consequences, including addiction and physical harm. The emergence of designer drugs also presents challenges for law enforcement and public health, emphasizing the need for education about their risks.
There are several examples of designer drugs. Here are some notable examples of designer drugs. The first example is the synthetic cannabinoids. An example are spice and K2. These mimic THC or the tetrahydrocannabinol but can have unpredictable effects, including severe anxiety and psychosis. Second example is the synthetic stimulants. An example is the bath salts. These often contain compounds like MDPV or the methylene deoxypyrovalerone, leading to increased energy and euphoria, but can also cause agitation and hallucinations. The third example is the MDMA or the methylene deoxymethamphetamine. An example is the MDA and MDEA. These substances mimic the effects of ecstasy, leading to heightened sensory perception and emotional connection. The fourth example is the fentanyl analogs. An example is the carfentanil. These are significantly more potent than traditional opioids and pose a high risk of overdose. The fifth example is the 2C series. An example is the 2C-B and 2C-I. These are psychedelic phenethylamines that produce hallucinogenic effects similar to LSD or lysergic acid diethylamide but with varying intensity. Each of these substances carries unique risks and varying legal statuses, reflecting the ongoing challenges in regulation and public health. Its important purpose is to mimic the effects of existing illegal drugs while evading legal restrictions. Their purposes include: first is the euphoric effects. Many designer drugs aim to produce similar psychoactive effects to substances like ecstasy or LSD, are commonly known as the lysergic acid diethylamide. Second is the legal loopholes. By modifying chemical structures, manufacturers attempt to bypass drug laws by making these substances technically legal until classified otherwise. The third purpose is the market demand. They cater to users seeking new experiences or alternatives to traditional drugs, often marketed as safer or natural. The fourth is the research. Some are developed for potential therapeutic uses, although this is less common.
Designer drugs are often produced in clandestine laboratories and are designed to resemble established drugs such as cannabinoids, stimulant, or hallucinogen. Common categories include: first is synthetic cannabinoids, often referred to as spice or K2. These mimic THC, the active component of cannabis. They can cause intense and unpredictable effects, sometimes resulting in severe anxiety, paranoid, or even physical health issues. Number 2 is synthetic stimulant, known as bath salt. These drugs are chemically similar to amphetamine and can lead to increased energy, euphoria, and heightened alertness. However, they can also cause severe agitation, hallucination, and violent behavior. Number 3 is hallucinogen. Some designer drugs are created to replicate substances like LSD or psilocybin. Variant can lead to alert perception and consciousness, but with unknown safety profiles and risk of adverse psychological effect. Number 4, opioids variant. New synthetic opioids such as fentanyl analogs are designed to be more potent than traditional opioids. These possess significant risk of overdose and death, as users may be unaware of their strength.
Now let us discuss the effects of designer drugs. Legal and regulatory challenges. The rapid evolution of these substances makes regulation difficult. When a new designer drugs emerges, authorities may classify it as illegal, but manufacturers often quickly alter its chemical structure to bypass these laws. Health risk. The unpredictable nature of designer drugs can lead to serious health consequences, including addiction, mental health disorders, and physical harm, because they are often unregulated. Users may not know the exact composition or dosage, heightening the risk of overdose. Next is the social impact. The emergence of designer drugs has led to increased law enforcement challenges and public health concerns, including the need for education about the risks associated with these substances. However, their unpredictability and potential for harm pose significant risk. Designer drugs carry several significant risks, including unpredictable effects due to altered chemical structures, which can lead to unexpected and dangerous reactions. They pose serious health risks such as addiction, cardiovascular problems, and neurological damage. The lack of regulation means minimal oversight, resulting in inconsistent potency and purity, which can increase the potential for overdose. Users often do not know the appropriate dosage, further heightening overdose risk. Regular use can lead to dependency with withdrawal symptoms that are intense and challenging to manage. Additionally, the psychoactive effects may impair judgment, leading to risky behaviors. Finally, while these substances may initially evade law enforcement, new laws can suddenly criminalize their use, exposing users to legal consequences.